All right, let's get started. For the workers, this actually is relatively simple for you guys because the only thing you're responsible for is getting in the habit of clocking in and out daily when you have, well, it doesn't have to be daily, but whenever you're scheduled to see your client. In order to get paid, you must clock in and out. Now, while we're doing the pilot, we are going to still be using paper timesheets too, but sorry, I still have people coming in. It's distracting me a little bit. But again, just know during the pilot, we will be using paper timesheets as well as Authenticare. So you don't have to stress too much at this time, but we do need to go ahead and get in the habit of clocking in and out. And again, my name is Katie Oelschlager. I'm one of the rehab specialists with the CEL program. I think we've got a few of the other rehab specialists on the line. Kathy Fountain, Lisa Alford, Marilyn Long, and Lillian Butler, I believe, are all here today as well. And we should have Lisa Smith here from First Data, who manages the Authenticare system, to help me answer some of your questions.
I'm here.
Okay, good, thank you. So the first step for a worker, and if you are working somewhere where you have access to the internet, the app is by far the easiest way for you to clock in and out. So what you will need to do is on the worker's mobile phone, you will need to download this app. It looks like this on your phone. It has a little plus sign, and it's Authenticare 2.0. I think there's an Authenticare app, so you want to make sure it's the Authenticare 2.0 app. So the first step for the worker, if you're going to use the app to clock in and out, and you will clock in as soon as you get to your client's home, and you will clock out as soon as you're leaving your client's home. So once you have this app downloaded on your phone, you will need to open it. And this is the screen that you will see. And it's going to ask for a setup code, and the setup code you use is this, Alabama PRD. And that stands for Alabama Production. And that's what you will use, and you will click Submit. Once that happens, you will come to this screen. Now you will be assigned, I believe it's 6-digit worker ID number. You need to memorize it, write it down somewhere, because you will always need it to clock in and out. It will not change. Authenticare, I believe, assigned you the number, but Morning Sun will be the one who actually gives it to your employer, and then they will turn around and give it to you. So you will be assigned a worker ID and a temporary password, which you will enter here on the screen. But before you can even do any of that, we have to register your phone. So after you enter the setup code and you click Submit, you will see this screen, and before you enter your worker ID, your password, anything, you're going to click on Settings. Let's see, I was seeing if it had a screenshot. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second so I can show you, because I can show you this part on my phone. So once you click on the app, see, I've got the little app right there with the plus sign on my phone. So once you click on that and you get to this page, there's the settings there at the bottom. So you're going to click on that, and you're going to see something that says Device Identifier. Now this is an iPhone. So when you click on that says Device Identifier, this is the device ID that pulls up. I think if you have an Android phone, it looks different. I think it's all numbers. But as soon as you pull this up, you need to turn around and send it to Morning Sun along with your phone number, your cell phone number, because they have to actually set this app up in the Authenticare the actual website before you can clock in and out. Now, once that is done, then you can come back to this page. Okay, get off my screen. Then you can come up to this page, and then that's when you'll enter your worker ID and your temporary password. You'll have to, and then you'll hit sign in, and it'll take you to the next page, which basically asks you to change your temporary password to a permanent one, and then you'll have to come back to the screen and log in again. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. All right, now I've already checked in once today, so just ignore that. I did a little employer training before this, so you're going to see a check-in, but you should see something that says new check-in, and you are going to click on that. And this is what you click on as soon as you enter your client's home. You click on new check-in, so we're going to click that. Sorry, give my phone just a second. Okay, now you should only have, you'll probably only have one client when we're dealing with personal choices. So hopefully their name will automatically pop up here. I'm using a test app. So, you know, no clients found. It didn't pop up, but what I can do is if you see at the bottom, if for some reason your client's name does not automatically pop up, it gives you a lookup client option. So we're going to click on that. And that's where you were entering your client's last name and hit look up. So we're going to do that for my client. And it should pop, your client should pop right up with the address and everything underneath, so you know you're picking the right client. So we're going to select Miss Francis. And then it pulls up her information here. And you do have to select the service you're providing. Luckily, Sale only has one service. So you're going to click that service button, and you're going to select Sale. I'll show you. You're going to select Sale Personal Choices. That's the service you're providing. And then you're going to come down here or up at the top and click Done. Once you've done all that, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you'll say Submit Check-in. So we're going to click that. And success, you have checked in your client for that day. Now, here are two options. Once you've checked in and it's time, you've provided your services throughout the day, and it is time to check out, you have two options. The claim is not complete until the employer confirms it. Now, if the employer's not there when you go to check out, that's okay. They can, I've shown them a couple different ways. They can go in later and confirm the claim. But what you need to do is just say that the employer is not there. You are going to select where it says skip attestation right there. You just click that, and it is going to clock you out for the day. And then you're done. Now, if the employer is there, you're going to select the one that says continue the client attestation. So we're going to click that. And the checkout's been recorded, but at this point, you need to hand your phone to the employer so they can do what they need to do. And once they're finished, I don't want to confuse you, so I'm not going to go through all that unless you guys want me to, because it's really the employer's job now. But once they do their bit, then they hand the phone back to you, and you are clocked in and out, and your claim for that day has been confirmed. I'm sorry? If you guys have something that you want to ask questions about or anything, don't forget you can do a question in the chat room too. So that is how you check in and out on the app. That is by far the easiest way to do it if you have the ability to do it that way. If not, your only other option, and I'll have to share my screen again. Let's see.
Ugh.
Only other option, and guys, please make sure you're muted. The only other option is the IVR option, which is basically the landline or your employer's cell phone. You can use that to check in and out as well. All right, I'm scrolling through all this because we've gone through it together. All right, so if you want to use client's mobile or the landline to check in and out, what you will do is you will call this 1-800 number. You will have to have that 6-digit, I'm almost positive it's, 6-digit number, your worker ID, and you will have to have the client ID, which will also be given to you by Morning Sun before we begin this process, if you're going to do it this way. And basically you call the 1-800 number and you just go through the prompts. You're a worker, press 1, and you have to enter your ID. You're going to press 1 to check in, press 2 if you're trying to check out. If you're signing in, then you have to enter the client ID, and it is a very long number, so you probably just have to write it down somewhere. And then you pick the service that you're trying to provide. Like I said, luckily SAIL only has one service, so that should be fairly easy for you guys to pick the right service. And then it'll ask, it's just, the prompts are easy, it's just kind of tedious. You got lots of them to go through to check in, and then you got to turn around when you're ready to check out and do the whole thing over again. Now, if your worker is there, if your employer is there, you can go ahead after you get to this prompt right here. Let me make sure. One. Okay, if you get to this one right here where it talks about your employer needs to verify, you have the option, if your employer is there, you can press 1, if not press 2, and it'll take you to complete the checkout. If your employer is there and you press 1, then you hand the phone to the employer, and they've got to go through these prompts to confirm the claim and complete the checkout process. And that is really all you guys have the ability to do. You don't have any access to the actual Authenticare website or anything. So do you guys have any questions about that?
Katie, I have a question.
Okay.
All right, after the worker enters the client's ID, then the service, they enter the worker's name if the enter provider's name, which is the employer if the employer's there.
Hold on, let me get to where you are. Okay, so you're talking about if they're clocking in on the landline?
Yes, or a mobile phone or an employer's mobile phone,
okay.
if the power went out, and can they clock in on a mobile phone of the employer?
Yes. And if once you verified what service it is, then you don't have to fill in the rest of these blanks. It'll just say, if you are Frances Fay and you work for Katie Oelschlager and you're providing SAIL personal care for ABC, press 1. If that's not correct, press 2. You don't have to fill that in. It's going to be already,
Okay.
it'll be automated once it gets your worker ID and your client ID from these prompts up here. It'll already generate that information. You're just confirming that it's correct. But no, there's
Gotcha.
no way for you to, enter it. It just will say it. And you say, yes, it's correct. No, it's not. All right, we have a question. If client is employer, will they have two different numbers, their client ID and their employer ID. Lisa, you'll have to correct me, but I'm going to answer that yes, they will have two different numbers.
That's correct.
Okay, so yes, they would have a client ID to represent them as client, and then they will have the employer ID that they will have to use when they are confirming claims. So yes, they'd have to have two numbers to remember. All right, any other questions?
Yes, in the beginning, when you told us to send our mobile phone ID information to Morning Sun, what method should we do that by? Is there are we just supposed to call them? Is there a way to just take a picture and send it to them? Or what would you have to suggest?
Justin, I don't know if he's on the line, but he gave me a 1-800 number and an email that I sent out to you guys that they want you to contact them using those methods if it's an EVV related question or personal choices related question. So I'm thinking if you're on your cell phone that you could take a screenshot and email it to them from your phone using that email address that I sent out to you guys yesterday.
That's correct. This is Justin with Morning Sun. Once you get your IDs and can log into the app, you go through the process of finding that mobile device ID, and you can copy that and paste it into an email and send it to us, and we can get it updated for you in Authenticare.
And I'm just going to say, I don't know. I'm waiting to hear back from Medicaid. I don't know if we're going to be able to start this. We can't start this until we get all of you guys registered, your app registered on the workers app registered on their phone. I don't know if we're going to have the worker IDs until Friday, which means Morning Sun will probably be busy on Monday registering all of your devices. So it may be Tuesday before we can actually start checking in and out. But as soon as I know anything, I will let you guys know. But so far, that's looking like how it's going to be. And that's actually might be easier because Tuesday starts a new pay period. All right, any other questions? If not, that is it. That's all that I had for you guys today. And I have sent all of my contact information to the employers. If you didn't get it, please contact your case manager because they have it as well and they can get it to you. And if you want to look over this some more and at a later time you have questions, feel free to contact me. And if I don't know the answer, I will find out the answer for you.